Deadbeat dads not paying child support for their kids.
But there is another group you probably haven't heard of, dads who are forced to pay for kids who aren't theirs. Reporter Brad Woodard has more about an important deadline coming up that is trying to change that.
As we go about the business of our daily lives, we all carry around secrets, some big, some small. But the statistic you're about to hear frames an old question in a startling new light. Who's your daddy?
Statistically, there are 128,000 men in Texas who are paying child support for kids that aren't theirs.
As you can see, I don't have any milk.
Consider the case of Reggie Jones. It's the end of the month and his cupboards are almost bare.
It's my electricity bill, just due in a couple of days.
So is his checkbook, the result, he says, of paying $1,400 a month in child support for 2 children DNA testing has proven are not his. 40% of his take-home pay.
After you paid all your bills, including child support, how much do you have left over?
About $23.
And how long is that supposed to last?
30 plus days.
How are you surviving?
Support friends and family.
He has been informed by the Attorney General's office in no uncertain terms he is not the father, but he's still paying.
In years past, if a father in Texas learned the child he'd been supporting wasn't his, he still had to pay because it was considered to be in the best interest of the child. Logic which sometimes came at the expense of his real children.
But a new state law gives men until this Saturday, September 1st, to petition the courts for DNA testing that could absolve them of responsibility. They could still do it after that, but only if they've learned they're not the father within the past year. Here's the problem.
I have people come into my office pretty much on a daily basis, bring me DNA tests from 2007 or 2009 or 2005.
The Attorney General's office takes credit for all child support paid through the state.
Plus, the state receives federal incentives of $30 to $40 million a year based upon how much child support it collects. And this year, it collected a record $3.2 billion.
There is no justice in a non-father paying child support for someone else's child.
I've pretty much lost everything.
All for 2 children that aren't even his. Brad Woodard, KHOU.